Hi everyone. Hello and welcome back. Thanks for joining in. Today's session is going to be very interesting, and I'll tell you why. Because today we'll be discussing the upcoming union budget. My name is Shramana, and today we have two very important guest speakers with us who are going to be decoding some very salient features of the budget and what is it that the industry expects. So, just to give you a little bit of context, now the union budget is going to be something that the whole crypto community is looking forward to eagerly. And since the last year, we have seen that there were some taxes that were levied on crypto trading and also, deduction of TDS, etc. And we are also expecting a more conducive regulatory framework for virtual digital assets. So, the whole ecosystem is looking forward to increased adoption and a secure regulatory framework from the finance minister is what is top expectation from most of the community. But what we are going to do today is we are going to be answering some questions that a lot of people have in mind, like pertinent questions that people keep asking on social media, or this specific doubts that they have with respect to all the ambiguity, because crypto has come up in a big way in the last 1 year as well. I think it's best if we just break down every fragment of that, and that's exactly what we are going to be doing today. So, just a little brief about our guests today. So, we have Saudamini, who is a part of our marketing team. She's also a CA, so she's going to be, talking about the taxation and what is it that we are expecting from the budget. Next, we have Rushina Thacker. She's also tax expert at Binocs, and she's going to give us a comprehensive overview of the ecosystem and how is it that we can boost the adoption rate in India for crypto with respect to regulatory frameworks being more conducive for the ecosystem. So, without further ado, I think we should dive right into it. And welcome, Rushina and Saudamini. It's so great to have you here with us. I have some questions, and I think I'll be addressing on them and directing them to either of you, or both of you can choose to answer. And yeah, let's get started. So, I think the most common question, paying taxes in India. So let's talk a little bit about that. So Adamini, do you want to just start, and then Rishina can maybe add to it? Paying taxes on crypto, if you want to just get started on that.
So yes, firstly, thank you for having me here, Shamna, and hello everyone. So yes, we have the budget which is on 1st of February, and we are looking forward to it. Before we go into what is next, let's just brief up what is now. So currently, based on the last budget, yes, there is taxation on your crypto income basically. So you have to pay 30% tax when you file your returns. That is for the income or what the gains that you've earned from your crypto transactions. That is, you have sold a crypto, so your whatever you have earned from that sale minus your cost of acquisition balance, whatever is the gain, and on that you pay 30% tax. That's one leg to it. And the second leg to it is the 1% TDS part of it. Now, that TDS is something which is deducted for all crypto transactions with certain exemptions here and there that we can talk eventually. But yes, there is taxation on crypto in India, and we are glad that we have started somewhere. We do have expectations from this budget, but the recognition has come in the previous budget, and we are looking forward to something more in this budget as well. Over to you.
Absolutely.
So, just to add to what Sadamini just said, every transfer is taxed at the rate of 30%. So, whatever gains you make on that transfer, you have to pay 30%. But it's not just every time you sell crypto, but even if you are, say, making a payment in crypto, or you're paying transfer fees or gas fees in crypto, all of that is also considered as a disposal. So, all of that will be taken into account while calculating your 30% taxation. And 1% TDS is just like TDS from the name itself is tax deducted at source. So that's more like a tax that is paid on your behalf in advance. So it's not really a tax liability actually. It's something that you can set off against your actual tax liability at the end while you're filing your return. So to sum it up, this is the only two taxes that we have so far, and a lot of clarifications are expected, and we'll talk about those maybe in this later half.
Yeah, so I think coming to what you have to pay taxes on, let's just get into the details. Like so for example, someone's buying crypto and holding on to the assets for a long term, say for a year or two. So do they pay taxes then? So they are buying crypto with fiat on a certain exchange, and then they are holding on to their assets. So they're not really selling it or using it to make any transactions, but just using it as an investment. So do they have to pay taxes on that then?
Okay, so you mean hodling, if I'm right.
Yeah, hodling.
So when you hold it, you have not earned anything on it, so you don't have to pay for it. It's simple as that.
Right. And when you are, say, transferring from one wallet to another, so there are two scenarios here. So, one is definitely you have like more than one wallet. You are interchanging assets between your wallets. So, that's one scenario. And the other is you're sending your crypto to another person's wallet. So, that the wallet to wallet transfer, how is that taxable? Like, if you can talk about it, Rashina.
So even wallet to wallet transfer is not really taxable because ultimately you are still holding it. It's just changed its account from one to another. So even crypto to crypto, like wallet to wallet transfer is not taxable.
Like what if you're sending it to someone else's wallet instead of our own wallet? Then of course there's the
In
whole.
that case, it may be considered as a transfer, and
Yeah.
you may have to understand what is the nature of that transfer. Is it transfer in the nature of payment or in the nature of gift? And depending on that, it will be taxed.
So what is the taxation percentage on gifts? So are gifts taxable, and is there a threshold or like an amount which when exceeds then you have to tax it? Or say if you're sending it to someone in within your close family members, so a lot of countries for example have these regulations that if you're sending it to your family members it's not taxable, or taxable only after it exceeds a certain amount. So is it something similar here, or how does it happen here? So Damini, you can talk about it and Rushina can add to that.
Sure. So, see, the concept of gifts is very clear in our Income Tax Act, like Section 56, subsection 2, clearly states out that if you have received some gifts which are more than 50,000 in value, then you're supposed to offer it for tax under income from other sources. The same concept, the last budget included the concept of VDAs, that's virtual digital assets, in the definition of gifts, in the definition for other sources, which includes the gifts factor as well. Because of it, if you have received any gifts, so that means if you have received something for no consideration as in you have not paid something for it, then you have to offer it as a gift. Okay, that you have received some gift from someone, like how you would do for other gifts. Okay, or there is another leg to it which says that you've received something, but you've received for something which is lesser than the fair market value. Say the gold actually cost 100 rupees in the market, but you have received it for lesser value because acha friend hai chalo kam mein de dete hai, sort of a thing. So in that case also the difference is a kind of a gift, and that has to be offered for tax. Obviously there are limits there. If the value is more than 50,000, then it comes to the category of gifts. That has to be studied from case to case. But then, yes, gifts are also taxable in that case.
Okay, got it.
And and
Huh.
just adding to that, you mentioned about relatives and so on, and certain events in which gift may not be taxed. So yes, there is a definition of relatives which covers your parents, your spouse, your like it's a exhaustive definition. So within that definition, if somebody is gifting it to you, then you may not have to pay tax on it. And apart from that, it's the 50,000 is the threshold, but once it crosses the 50,000 threshold, you have to offer the entire amount for gift. It's not only what is above the 50,000 rupees threshold.
Got it. Yeah, that makes it very clear. Thank you. I think one more question is I think everyone wants to know, and it's also something that has a little bit, I mean, has had a detrimental effect on a few people. Okay, Rushina has dropped off. So, Damini, I'll continue with you. Um, Talking about set off of crypto losses, so how are losses and gains sort of calculated, and can there be set offs? Like we know that within the same token we cannot do set off and all of that, but within the different tokens we cannot do the set off. But how is it calculated, and can it be carried forward to the next year, or how is it set off in here in the current tax regime? uh, I think so, Damini, you're not. Yeah.
Am I audible? Okay. So before coming to whether we can set off or carry forward, let me just briefly touch on why the question of set off and carry forward is coming. So people who are filing their returns, or who are aware about it, who have capital gains, or have who make losses on, say, share market or something like that. There are certain situations where the loss, whatever is there, is carried forward to the next year. Okay, and when it is carried forward to the next year, you can set off, and that way your tax calculations change. But when it comes to crypto, government has strictly told that there is no set off of loss, or there is no carry forward. Okay, so the simple answer is you cannot set it off against any other income, or you cannot carry forward the loss to the next year. Whatever it is, इस साल का इसी साल में पूरा करो.
Hmm.
Okay, so again, just to give you another example, say you purchased Bitcoin worth rupees 100, rupees 100, and you sold it for 150 rupees. So you made a profit for 50, you would have offered it for tax.
Yeah.
Okay, the 50 rupees you're offered it for tax for 30% of tax. Say in the meantime, you had purchased Ethereum for 100 rupees and you sold it for 70 rupees. You have made a loss of 30 rupees.
Yeah.
But you have an income of 50 rupees, you have a loss of 30 rupees. Technically, if we were in a normal market, in a normal capital gain structure market, what we are currently, we would have said, jo bhi hai 50 minus 30, 20 rupees, hum tax ko, we'll offer 20 rupees for tax. But in this situation, that is not, in case of crypto, that's not applicable. 50 rupees has to be offered for tax as a whole amount, and 30 rupees, it's your loss.
Loss. Yeah. It just remains.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think these sort of make a little provide a little more clarity on what exactly we have at the moment. But I think one more aspect that we want to touch upon in a little more detail is the TDS bit. So we already talked about it in the beginning, but just for everyone's clarity, I just want to ask you, Rushina, who bears the cost of the TDS, and how is it calculated? So, for example, if you are doing a trade on an exchange, what there's a lot of ambiguity around the TDS factor. So if you can just clarify that a little bit with some examples, that would be great.
So basically, TDS is tax deducted at source, and as per what 194S reads, is that the buyer of a crypto has to actually deduct 1% TDS and transfer the balance amount to the seller, and that 1% goes against the seller's PAN, or it goes against their PAN number. So ideally, the responsibility is that of a buyer, but that would make it very complex, because every time, say, I'm buying crypto from whoever on an exchange through a broker, I have to know who the actual seller is, get their person's PAN number, fill the form, deposit it, and give only the balance 99% to the seller. So that becomes complex, and that's why the department issued circulars wherein it brought about exchanges role towards how they can simplify this entire thing. So now a lot, like Indian exchanges especially, they've directed it to that the exchange can play this role of an intermediary and just help simplify this whole complex thing of TDS. So they're actually playing a part here, but it's not actually the exchange's responsibility, is what I understand when it comes to TDS deduction. But now, say for example, if I'm trading on WazirX, the exchange will deduct 1% and deposit it to the seller's PAN. And if I'm a seller, if I've sold crypto for say 100 rupees, it's worth 100 rupees. So mujhe 100 aana chahiye tha. Now I'm getting only 99 rupees. And that 1% I can see as TDS when I log into my income tax portal, or even on the transaction history that I download, I can see that 1 rupee has gone towards TDS. And this I can claim while I'm filing my return. If say I don't have any tax liability, I will get this full 1 rupee back as a refund.
Okay. Okay, got it. And so, since we just spoke about TDS, and I hope your example makes it clear for everyone who has joined how exactly it works. Do you think, imposition of TDS and what we just spoke about earlier, no carrying forward of losses in the next year, these things have impacted trading, especially in the Indian exchanges? So Damini, you can just talk about it a little bit. If you have some data around it, maybe share that, like how it has impacted trading, and how, if it at all, has deterred investors you know from trading here on exchanges. So
Yeah. So, see, when something new comes, there is always going to be that a step back कि कुछ नया आया है तो is it good, is it bad, how is it going to affect? And honestly, while it is good to know that we have been, the crypto industry has been recognized, people have been worried and affected because of the taxation to a larger extent. Because, see, on the TDS front in specific, though there is 1% which is getting deducted, and then after that you can claim a refund of it eventually when you file your returns. But the working capital flow, like the regular day to day, जो भी पैसा है वो अटक रहा है. You get the refund only at the end of the year. So the small players are always going to have that hassle of managing their working capital. So that is one factor which has got which has hit the market in a very big scale. And even the 30% tax. So government has kept it at par with certain uh, speculative businesses where the tax rate is so high. So anyone would say, okay, 30% of my earnings I'm supposed to put it, give it for tax. So that's a very high amount which anyone one would want to set aside. So these are the factors which have affected the mindset of people to a larger extent. And yes, as far as data is concerned, recently there was something published that more than 40%, or I mean, if 40% or 50% of people have moved to foreign exchanges, leaving the Indian exchanges because of these tax provisions and all. And some of the foreign exchanges don't even have the provision of TDS mechanism in place. So that way, we are losing out a lot of revenue in the country as well because people are flooding away from here. So these factors have not only affected individuals, or that is the investors or the exchanges, even the country as a whole, because we are losing out on quite a lot.
But just to get some clarity, 30% tax still is still applicable even if you trade on foreign exchanges, right? Because it's a capital gains tax.
Yes, of course, it will be applicable, but the only thing that probably gets missed out there is the 1% TDS, and which ideally, if the buyer is buying from an Indian resident, they may have to deduct it, but that's probably lost in when they move out to a foreign exchange, and that can make a user non-compliant towards the TDS rule.
Oh, okay. I think this is very important to note that, it's something that sort of goes against the compliance that we Indian exchanges are actually abiding by. So what Rishina just said, that if you are not being, mindful of the 1% TDS factor, you're going against the regulations. So I hope everyone's taking note about this. So Damini, I'm not sure. Oh, I think she's just dropped off. Oh, she's back. Okay. Cool. Okay. So, yeah, I think this is much better now that we know, how exactly it has impacted the trading volumes in Indian exchanges. And it's true. I mean, there was a recent study also published that we have lost so much trading volume because of the TDS. So, yeah, we are hoping for some relief from this in the upcoming budget session. Which brings us to our next question. So, what exactly are we expecting as a crypto community from the union budget? And I would like you both to just, add your inputs here and talk about what would make India a more conducive crypto market.
Okay, let me go first. So I would actually probably put this as a request or ask or whatever you call it, but this is a sincere ask from our crypto community. First things first, do 1% TDS. So see, there was a reason why TDS was initially introduced. Right now, 194S is introduced, but initially or now, it is basically to track all the transactions. We understand that that is a tracking mechanism that the government is putting in place. So you want to have the tracking mechanism in place, great. Probably the 1% part of it could be reduced to 0.1%. So that would make a lot of difference for people who want to trade in crypto or deal with crypto. So that is one thing, that reducing the tax TDS rate from 1% to 0.1%. The second thing is to rework the idea of 30% tax, because right now it has been put on par with speculative businesses or things on the higher tax rate. Probably if we keep it on the same level of how shares and mutual funds are working, how the securities market is working, that will be really helpful. So the treatment also would be the same, and taxes also would be at the same level as those elements are. And then comes to the set off and carry forward of losses. So if you are bringing the same logic of security market, then the same for taxes, then the same logic for set off and carry forward will also make a difference. So with this summarizes to the part that VDA should be given the recognition as an asset class. If you give it, the first step is give it a recognition of an asset class and then follow with all of these. It makes a lot of sense, and it will give a lot of clarity to people um, who are looking for clarity basically, and
Yeah.
a lot of people can join into the crypto ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because as I told you just in the previous question, we are losing out as a country. We are losing out on a lot of income, tax income. There are people who are going to the foreign exchanges. So we are trying to bring the Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India concept. We are trying to bring that forward. So these modifications in the tax laws and recognition would definitely make a difference.
Right. Over to Rashina. Please add to this.
So, like Sadamini just said, this is actually a wish list that is expected by the ecosystem that these things may be looked upon. But what I think they can actually do is the clarification towards set of carry forward, because that is something that only came out in the circular but was not in the act. So when you read the Bear Act, it says that you can just not set it off against different assets within other asset class, but inter asset or within crypto to crypto, the understanding is that it can probably be set off. But the circular that came out later on specifically said that it's not allowed. So that doesn't make really sense, because a lot of times, say people are trading from Bitcoin, they are switching to wrapped Bitcoin when they have to go on a different protocol to probably make trades, and that those kind of transactions, it whether Bitcoin and wrapped Bitcoin are the same or not, how do you say these are different tokens or a same token? So it makes it a lot more confusing, and that's why a lot of clarification is expected on this front. Again, clarifications when it comes to how an income in crypto should be taxed, that's the act is currently silent on it. And it may create a lot of confusion, because there is one set of people who understand that any income that's received, say income earned as salary, but it's coming in say stable coins,
Hmm.
that may be looked like, there's a set of people that understand that as to be treated as normal income, but then there is also a different, more conservative side of financial experts who would probably want to tax it at a 30% rate. So these kind of clarifications are definitely expected from the upcoming budget, wherein you don't just see at the trades but see at the entire ecosystem, because a lot more transactions are happening here. There is DeFi, there is NFTs, there's airdrops and forks, and how are all these different kinds of strategies to be taxed? That for that we are definitely expecting clarifications.
Yes, because that's still quite ambiguous when it comes to Indian exchanges and whole ecosystem as a whole. And I feel also that, with these and a comprehensive regulatory framework, the adoption rate in crypto could just go up rapidly in India. And we have a lot of opportunities, and, the whole world is making use of it. So I think it's just for us in our benefit to maybe jump on this wagon and get things going the way where everyone stands to benefit. So talking about that, I think I mean, even though there was a bear market, and a lot of people have been very skeptical of crypto as assets, and but we have seen some use cases of crypto in the last few months, and a lot of big organizations have started rolling out their own DeFi services, and major banks have started embracing crypto quite formally. So I would just want to understand that if you have any specific country in mind where the regulations are very people friendly and also friendly to businesses, and if you can just talk about that, both Saudamini and Rashina, just if you can highlight a few instances or some ways in which different countries are actually encouraging crypto adoption through their regulations.
So it's a very wide spectrum of countries. Like there are countries like El Salvador where Bitcoin is a legal tender, and then there are countries like, say, countries in the Middle East which are very friendly towards the entire Web3 ecosystem. And then also there are more mature countries like the US, wherein maybe it's not legal tender there yet, but the laws are a lot more clearer. There's more clarity when compared to laws in India. Like uh, US specifically has a lot of state laws also. Then so there are some states which are pro crypto, some states which are not. But
Yeah.
overall, the federal taxes over there. Uh, the IRS, which is the uh, equivalent of Indian Income Tax Department over there, has like laid out a proper detailed FAQs on how each kind of transaction or what every kind of crypto transaction is to be taxed. So in that way, from the regulations point of view, it's much more ahead than where India is at the current stage.
Right.
I would like to add here. So, if so, from what we have read, Singapore has a very minimum bracket for the tax rates for crypto, that is between 17 to 17%, and they have they have clearly what do you say, specified okay, when is it taxable, what are the brackets when it is taxable. So basically, what how to summarize what Rashina said, and how we are seeing the different countries taking the crypto step. It's about documenting. You need to communicate कि hey, these are the laws. इतना टैक्स भरोगे अगर ये इनकम है, इतना टैक्स आएगा अगर आपने ये ट्रांजैक्शन किया है. It has to be clearly voiced out.
Right. So I think, yeah, that's a very good point, and we actually had some great insights from this session. First one was, I think, one that the set off of crypto gains and losses, about that, and what is it that we're expecting from the upcoming budget session around this, because right now we cannot do that, but I think having such a regulation might actually be beneficial to users. Another is the TDS bit. I think there was a lot of ambiguity, but Rushina just clarified that the 1% TDS bit is something that you have to be mindful of, no matter where you are trading, be it Indian exchanges or foreign exchanges. So a lot of users who are going to foreign exchanges thinking that they won't be like there won't be any TDS factor there. Please understand that if you are a resident of India, the regulations apply to you, and you have to be compliant of that. And apart from that, I think conducive regulatory frameworks, which other a lot of countries are exploring, like Saudamini and Rashina both mentioned, tax brackets on capital gains, which are not that high, which do not sort of deter people to get into crypto. And also maybe making sure that a lot of people are just like getting into the ecosystem because they are very confident, and they are not like getting in because with a lot of doubt, etc. So yeah, because we have a lot to gain from crypto, and as we have seen globally, a lot of businesses have benefited, a lot of governments have started adopting blockchain tech rapidly, and we cannot be far behind. So I hope the upcoming budget session just keeps in mind a lot of these things, and sort of addresses some of the concerns that people have. So yeah, I think we had a great session. Thank you so much, Saudamini and Rashina. But I think we'll move to our audience here right now. They might have some questions which they would like answers for. So I would encourage people to ask your questions here, and make sure you stick to the topic, which is the upcoming budget session. And if you have any questions around that, we can have the questions, I think, on the screen. Maybe we can then read it out of there. Okay, so okay, so there's one from Abhinav Sharma who says RBI said ban crypto. Will Government of India go with the RBI or come up with different and hard regulations? So I don't think that's what's going to happen. But let's just go to one of our speakers. Please take up this question and just share your thoughts on this.
Okay. Yes, it's quite a news about uh, multiple people having their views about crypto. We just need to understand one thing, that recently the government has even announced the education series about crypto. They are working towards that because they want to educate people about what crypto is, how it works, and things like that. So the government is also making efforts to learn and educate people about crypto. So we have to uh, keep ourselves positive, and when government is making so much efforts, we just have to be very positive about it, that crypto is a promising asset class.
So there's no scare of ban happening on crypto, right? Like a lot of people are wondering if there's going to be any ban. There won't be, right? So
See, till till anyone puts it, till it is being told to us, which is not being told to us, why worry about something?
yeah,
It's simple as that.
Yeah, to add to it, also like a few months ago, before the G20 presidency was taken over by our finance minister, it was clearly mentioned by her that this is one of the topics that will be brought up in the upcoming G20, which started December last year. That crypto regulations will be talked about a lot more because the regulations in crypto have to be more intergovernmental. It's not just our country defining it and is separate from different governments, because a lot of things happen between countries here. There will be regulations, but and once there are regulations, there is no point about ban. It's just it will be more regulated than what it is currently, and that's a good positive change that I feel will happen.
right. Okay. So there's another question from Suren Kumar Sahu. Is government going to ban foreign exchanges? Yeah. Christina, can you talk about this?
It's unsure because it's not really brought up any time that there may be a ban on foreign exchanges. But definitely, from the point of view of regulations, if they can't regulate it, say through understanding between governments of different countries, if they can't do it, they may probably look at such an option. But it's not something that has been talked about specifically.
So, Damini, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, as I said in the previous one, unless
Yeah,
something is communicated, why worry about it?
I worry about it, right? Okay, I hope this answers your question, Sureen. And any other questions that people have, please feel free to ask. Make sure it's relevant to the budget session and taxation on crypto. Um, okay, don't see any questions. Okay, I think we are good then. We don't have any more questions from our audience, but remember, as always, if you do have questions, don't forget to tweet and tag our Twitter handle or even write to us if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer. And if you like the session, please go ahead and subscribe and make sure you stay tuned for all our upcoming sessions. It was great having Rashina and Saudamini on the show, and both of them talked a great deal about what is it that's going on in the regulatory environment in crypto and what could be coming, and what are the wish list of Indian crypto enthusiasts from the finance minister. So I hope that you all had a lot of learning experience from this, and that's all. I think. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, see you all next week. Thank you so much and have a good day.
Thank you, Shramana.
Thank you.